Well, good morning. It's time for Two Guys on Sports. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Dick, and we're back.
Yes.
After
a little hiatus there for Christmas,
Yeah.
and we got a jam-packed show, too. So
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to talk about here as we close out 2023 here. I got to say, give a shout-out to Dr. Connard from Marshfield Medical Center.
Yep.
I was in to see him the other day, and he said that he was glad that we're going to be back.
Yeah, he's a regular listener.
Yeah.
He's also the guy I see up there, Larry, and he's a great guy, and he just loves sports, and he and his PA, Danny Kopp, they love listening to our show. So,
All right, well, glad to have him along.
you bet.
All right, so let's get going. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on now before we do our little year-end review show here this morning. We got the Rick Majerus Wisconsin Basketball Yearbook Shootout going down in Concordia.
Yep.
And Marathon got a win yesterday, but Columbus Catholic took a loss.
Yeah, Brookfield Academy, of course, I'm really in the dark about some of these teams down there, but Columbus was playing on such a high, but you never know if the travel got to them or whatever, but they took her on the chin pretty good down there.
86-53 was the final yesterday.
And, if they went in cold shooting, they depend so much on the outside shooting, Larry. If that was cold, they can be susceptible. So
yeah, and Marathon, they are playing right now against the Prairie School.
Okay.
And Columbus Catholic will be going against Winnebago Lutheran.
Okay.
Coming up here within the hour.
Okay. So both good tests for both those teams.
Yeah,
so.
and Marshfield's down there too.
Okay.
They're taking on Onalaska this afternoon.
Okay. Another good test there. Onalaska, of course, very fine program there too.
Yeah. All right, so that's what's going on down in Concordia. The Auburndale boys basketball tournament tonight, Augusta and Neillsville. You can hear that game on 92.7 WPKG. It starts at 6 this evening.
Yep.
And then Wyawega Fremont against Auburndale at 7:30. The winners will play in the championship tomorrow, and the losers will play in the consolation game.
Yeah, it should be a good tournament. Auburndale is always going to, Coach Weidenfertner is always going to put a good team on.
Oh, yeah.
And Wyawega Fremont's had some good teams over the years. Augusta, of course, nice tradition there, but just a good tournament for the Warriors to get a couple games in out of the conference during the Christmas break, get their legs back under them again.
Yeah, kind of see where you kind of gauge yourself a little bit, especially with a team like Auburndale.
Yeah,
over
and
there.
they have struggled pretty much, Larry, in the non-conference portion of their schedule, and especially on the road. And this would give you a good place to pick that up a little bit.
Yeah. All right, so that one's going on. We got the McDonald Catholic tournament going on, the Big Century Classic over at UW Stevens Point.
How many years has that one been going on, Larry?
Well, they say in the girls' side they have the 52nd annual.
Yeah, so
I would imagine the same for the boys.
Are probably closer to 75. Probably.
It's been a lot. They've been doing that a long time.
Yeah, you
over
bet. Yeah, they've played a lot of basketball over there at Christmas time.
The Stratford tournament's going on today in boys basketball, and then there's some other games as well. Rosholt and Loyal boys basketball this afternoon.
And that's a girls-boys doubleheader up there. Actually, this morning right now, the Granton JVs are going to be playing the Loyal JVs up there. I don't know how the rest of the schedule is, but it's the Rosholt JV and varsity boys are playing Loyal, and the Rosholt girls varsity is playing Loyal. I don't know exactly what the schedule, but that is going on all day long in Loyal today. So
okay, so kind of a little mini tournament.
Yeah,
there
you
for
bet.
them.
And it's good for Granton to get up there and get them a game too during it, and just good for everybody. And so
some other boy-girl doubleheaders today: Greenwood at Alma Center and Abbotsford at Thorpe. So those two playing as well. And we have girls basketball coming up this afternoon. I got a busy day over in Auburndale. Neillsville and Auburndale girls at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Yeah. That one also on 92.7 WPKG.
How the Auburndale girls are this year. They lost Anne-Marie Owie to graduation, and I haven't checked how they're doing, but Coach Owie still has a pretty good program going over there, I think. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it'll be a good test for the Warriors.
You bet. And another game, get their legs back under them before they go back into conference play.
Yeah, that was supposed to have been a tournament there, but a couple of teams dropped out. So
yeah, because they've seen Mosinee over there.
Oh yeah,
one of the Wauwatosa schools has been there over the years, and this year just kind of the bottom kind of dropped out of it. So
yeah, so just Neillsville and Auburndale girls today. Neillsville will not have another game tomorrow in that one. All right, then we got the big wrestling tournaments going on.
Yeah, a couple of big. Well, there's actually 3 or 4 in the state, but 2 that we'll talk about, Larry. And, of course, one is the Northern Badger Wrestling Classic, which is at River Falls, and NGL is up there. along with Abby Colby, Black River Falls, Cadott, Edgar, Marathon. So, and that is a 46-team tournament,
Wow.
Larry. So that has grown tremendously. I think back in the day when it was in Menominee, it was right around 30 teams. But every year they seem to add a team or two, and they don't seem to lose too many. But good news for the NGL wrestling program. Hudson Sebesto Opel, who was injured in an off-season, had an off-season injury. He will return to the lineup for the Warriors at 150 pounds today, and he actually is the number 1 seed. So it'll be fun to watch him. And then other guys that I think are going to have a good chance should be placing up there. Ridge Tibbet at 113, Chase Littner at 106, and then the 2 Lookterons, Jake at 165, Dane at 175, and then Jackson Meyer at 285. I look for all these guys to have a good chance to place, but it's going to be a tough tournament.
Yeah.
You got, Marathon is going to be up there. They have a very strong team this year. Both the St. Croix, Falls, and Central strong programs this year. Regis Altoona has one of their better teams. Freedom from the eastern part of the state up there. Baldwin Woodville. Menominee, one of the better teams in Division I this year. So Cumberland, so a lot of good teams up there and a lot of good matches for these kids. So
and then they got the 41st Bi-State Classic going down La Crosse.
And this thing has gotten huge. I counted the teams this morning. I about fell off my chair. They are at 72 teams down there.
Wow.
So, but teams from our area, Marshfield down there. Marshfield has always been very representative, along with Stratford, Auburndale. All have good teams. Stanley Boyd has a strong team this year. And then Spencer Columbus Granton. And if people didn't know, Granton is part of the Spencer Columbus Co-op this year. So their kids are actually I think they got 1 or 2 kids up there, but they will see Bi-State for the first time next year. So
it'll be impressive.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's held at the La Crosse Center, which is a really neat place to watch wrestling.
Yeah. Nice, huge venue.
You bet. So.
All right, so that's what's going on here the next couple of days. A busy couple of days in high school sports.
Yeah. Oh, shit. I got the hockey notes too.
Yes. Okay. All right.
The girls hockey team, they're sitting at 6-3 right now. They're in a 2-day invitational that started yesterday at Eau Claire North, and then the boys hockey team, who is 7-5, they start an invite at Menominee today. They play Hayward today and Menominee tomorrow. So.
I believe the Black River Falls Co-op was beaten by Eau Claire North. I believe it was in overtime, 4-3 yesterday.
Okay. Pretty good test for
that was in girls hockey.
Eau Claire North on the girls' side.
Yeah.
I didn't see. I think they play another Eau Claire co-op. Yeah, I think it's probably like maybe the Altoona, Regis, McDonald kind of co-op.
Sure.
Yeah, I think they call it Eau Claire area. I think they play them today. So
all right. So Black River Falls Co-op boys and girls hockey teams as well in action. Yeah. So everybody's doing something.
We're running out of sports to talk about locally. Good thing.
Yeah. All right. Before we get into the year-end review and what else is going on, where are they now this week?
Yeah, I can do it where now.
Okay. What do you got for us?
Actually, Larry, I'm going over to Wisconsin Rapids Assumption and talk about Gina Grunhofer.
Okay.
And Gina was a 2016 graduate of Wisconsin Rapids Assumption High School. She was a 3-year letter winner on the Royals volleyball team. Her sophomore year, Assumption was 13-9, losing in the regional semis to Pittsville. Gina was named honorable mention on the Marywood South All-Conference team. Her junior year, the Royals were 14-8, losing in the regional finals to Wild Rose. Gina was a second-team selection on the Marywood South All-Conference team. Her senior year, Assumption was 15-16, but made it to the sectional semifinals before losing to Wausau Newman. Gina was an honorable mention selection on the Marywood South All-Conference team that year. In the winter, Gina was a 4-year letter winner on the Assumption girls basketball team. Her freshman year, the Royals were 28-1. They were Marywood South regional and sectional champions, qualifying for the WIAA Division V state tournament, where they would defeat Wausau Newman 60-37 in the semifinals, and then win the D5 state championship by defeating Barneveld 39-35 in the championship game. On the year, Gina averaged 12 points and 5 rebounds per game and was an honorable mention choice on the Marywood South All-Conference team. Her sophomore year, the Royals were 26-3. They were Marywood South regional and sectional champions, qualifying for the WI Division V state tournament, where they would defeat Heritage Christian in the semifinals 61-41 before losing in the championship game to Barneveld 38-34. On the season, Gina averaged 13 points per game and was the leading scorer in the Marywood South Conference and was first team all-conference. Her junior year, the Royals were 25-4. They were regional and sectional champions, qualifying for the WI Division V state tournament, where they would beat South Shore in the state semifinals 57-43 before losing again in the state championship game to Barneveld 59-43. Gina averaged 20.4 points per game that year and was the leading scorer in the Marywood South. She was first team all-conference and conference player of the year. She was a Channel 7 All-Star and honorable mention All-State. Her senior year, Assumption was 25-4, and they were co-champs in the Marywood South, and they were regional and sectional champions, qualifying for the WI Division V state tournament, where they would defeat Fall River in the semifinals 63-50. Gina had 35 points and 5 rebounds in that game. In the championship game, they would defeat Barneveld 62-45 to win the title. Gina would have 20 points and 6 rebounds in the title game and was named to the all-tournament team. Her 35 points in the semis is second highest total in Division V. And Larry, in a game that you did, Shamara Williams from was that Milwaukee Arts Academy or whatever, had 40 points against Loyal in the championship game.
Yes.
And her 55 points in the tournament is also second in Division V history, also to Shamara Williams. On the season, she would average 17.8 points per game. She was leading scorer in the Marywood South, and she was a first-team All-Conference and Conference Player of the Year, a Channel 7 All-Star, and third-team All-State. She was also selected to play in the Wisconsin Basketball Coaches Association All-Star Game. For her career, she scored 1,809 points, and during that career, Assumption was 104 wins and 12 losses, with 2 state championships and 2 runner-up. And Larry, there was 12 losses there, but I think the coach Burkhauser over there, he really took a John Geyer theory and really scheduled some tough teams.
Oh,
in the conference.
Yeah.
He was actually, in her junior and senior year, they were 0-2 against Neillsville.
Yeah.
And I think that's what made them so tough down tournament times.
Oh, yeah.
So,
You bet.
after graduation, Gina earned an athletic scholarship to play basketball at Lehigh University in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. In her freshman year, the Mountain Hawks were 10-20. Gina averaged 9.9 points and 4.7 rebounds per game, and she was named to the Patriot League Academic Honor Roll. Her sophomore year, Lehigh was 15-15. Gina averaged 11.2 points per game and 4.2 rebounds, and again was named to the Patriot League All-Academic Honor Roll. Her junior year, the Mountain Hawks were 21-10. Gina averaged 9 points per game and 3.9 rebounds, and again was named to the Patriot League All-Academic Honor Roll. Her senior year, she battled injuries all season and averaged 2 points per game. Gina graduated from Lehigh University in 2020 with a bachelor's degree in business administration and management. She earned her master's degree in business administration from St. Louis University in 2021. Today, Gina is a sales executive at Apria Healthcare based in Minneapolis, and Gina resides in the Twin City area today. Gina Grunhofer, Larry.
Yeah, that's the name right there.
You bet. She was key on those teams. And, you wonder if Assumption and Barneveld got sick of playing each other in those championships.
They did a lot of years.
But I'll tell you what, those Assumption teams probably kept Loyal from making another visitor to during the Carson Reith years.
Yes, yeah.
There's a lot of losses, like sectional semifinals and stuff. So,
yeah, I'm sure Loyal was glad when they got beat before they went to state that year.
They didn't have to see them that year because it was almost like they had a complex about it.
Yeah. It gets in your head sometimes, I'm sure.
It does.
You bet. All right, let's go to college football bowl games that are going on today. The Fenway Bowl is going on in Boston today. SMU against Boston College.
And then the Pop-Tart Bowl is
Pop-Tart Bowl, yeah. That was, we talked about that one heading up to it. Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, and that's North Carolina State and Kansas State. So.
And the Pinstripe Bowl in New York. Didn't the Badgers play in that?
Yes, they did.
One time?
Yeah, that's in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, right in Yankee Stadium.
So, the Badgers played Miami there.
Yeah, and Miami's playing again this year against Rutgers.
And of course, Rutgers, kind of the state university of New York. So
out of the Big Ten.
Yep. So I can't remember the last time Rutgers was in a bowl game. So.
Alamo Bowl tonight.
Yep.
Oklahoma against Arizona.
Yeah, and that's always a big one down there in San Antonio. So
you bet. All right, so that's the bowl games that are going on.
Yeah, and there's 4 more tomorrow and 4 more on Saturday too, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's no shortage of college football bowl
But the
games.
big day is Monday, Larry.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Badgers take on LSU on Monday in the Relia Quest Bowl,
which
was I think before it was the.
Was that the Outback Bowl? Maybe?
Yes. It was the Outback Bowl.
But LSU quarterback Heisman Trophy winner Jaden Daniels will not play in that game.
Nope.
So it'll be interesting to see how LSU comes out on offense. But of course, the Badgers won't have Braylon Allen either. So
no.
So but,
I'm not sure if that equals out or not.
I don't know if it does or not. So.
All right, so we're going to do a little year-end show here today as we close out 2023. You know, we have to go back all the way back. Anything going on in January back then in our area?
I talk about the girls and boys basketball last year. First of all, the boys, what a excellent conference it was last year. You had 4 teams, Neilsville, Kobe, Columbus, and Owen Withee fought it out all season for those top 4. And at any time, one of them held the top spot, and it ended up being Kobe.
Yep.
And then also Drew Brown ended his great career at Neilsville with 1,500 points. So that was a big thing for me, and knowing the kid all his life, and so
he was named Player of the Year last year too in the Eastern
Conference. You bet. So
yeah,
and then on the girls' side, the Neilsville girls another conference title, and just missed another trip to state with a loss to Colfax in the sectional semifinals. But John Geyer getting his 500th win, I think that was a very big deal there.
Yeah, and the Warriors ended the conference season winning 55 in a row, and it still goes on.
It's since moved up to 60.
Yeah, So all right, so that was boys and girls basketball from last year. Let's see what happened as far as state last year. Let's see. In girls basketball, we had Kettle Moraine winning in Division 1.
Yep.
Notre Dame in Division 2.
Yeah, Notre Dame very strong. I believe that was their 3rd in a row.
Yeah.
And I think they'll be going for 4 in a row this year. So
yeah, they might be in that where they got to move up maybe a division.
Yeah, they could be. Yeah.
Division 3 had where was it? Kewaskum? Is that right? Yeah,
I believe so.
Yep. And then Division 4 had Laconia. We talked about those.
They are right
that
now.
Team.
They are just the train is not stopping there because it always seems like they got young kids playing.
Right. Yeah, and they beat top seeded Aquinas last year
handily too
in that championship.
Yeah. That was probably the hardest anybody's handled Aquinas in a long time in that tournament. So.
And then McDonald Catholic won the Division 5 championship, beating Blair Taylor in that championship.
And Blair Taylor, very good team also. That was a very good championship game. And, of course, that win has moved McDonald up to Division 4 now. So
yeah, and surprisingly, because that was their first state championship.
Yeah,
girls
I don't
basketball.
get it. I said, I could understand volleyball, but I didn't understand basketball. But them moving into Division 4 leaks down to Neilsville because then Neilsville got moved to a different sectional.
Yeah, they're back down in that one sectional they were at
Mineral Point and
years
Cuba
ago.
City and them.
Yeah.
So pretty interesting. So.
All right, then division for the boys, it was De Pere winning in Division 1. Arrowhead won, De Pere. Where are we at here? Let's get it right here. Pewaukee, there we go, won their 3rd Division 2 title.
Talking another strong program there.
Yeah.
Too, so.
They will be without their big scorer, are they, right?
Yeah, he graduated. So.
All right, then you have Brillion winning in Division 3. Mm-hmm. Luther won Division 4. Yeah. And then Division 5, you had Newman Catholic beating McDonald Catholic.
Yep. And Newman Catholic had a very strong senior-oriented team. And that was a scoring team there. So, but McDonald, a team that we had seen against Neilsville, they were okay. I mean, they had my favorite name, Eddie Mittermeier. Who's since graduated. But, but McDonald, Newman, just all season long, just really put up the points.
Yeah, they had Connor Cratch and Mason Prey and Isaac Seidel.
Yep.
Or Seidel.
Yeah, they were a good team. So.
And that was their first ever appearance in state.
Yes.
And they won the championship.
Yeah. Newman has long been known as girls athletics.
Right.
I mean, the boys have done well in 8-man football for the most part, but basketball and other sports just not been their forte.
No. All right, we move ahead to the spring.
Let's talk about wrestling.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yes. Geez, what am I doing?
Yeah, it's a little dear to my heart.
Yes.
Too,
Yeah. Wow. Thanks for stopping me there.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the wrestling and of course Gunnar Hoffman and Luke Dukes ended their 4-year stellar careers for NGL.
Yes.
With their both making their 4th trips to state, and of course they are the 3rd and 4th wrestlers all time to go all 4 years. But they became the first 2 to place all 4 years.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So
how easy we forget. Huh?
Yeah, not me. And of course Gunnar Hoffman with the D2 285-pound title, and then Gunnar was also 2nd as a junior, 5th as a sophomore, and 6th at 220 as a freshman. Luke was 3rd at 106 as a freshman, 2nd at 113 as a sophomore, and 2nd at 120 as a junior, and 2nd at 126 as senior. And Luke might very well go down in a handful of people, Larry, that might be one of the best wrestlers never to win a state title.
Never to, yeah, right.
You know, so you
yeah,
hate,
he was
you hate
good.
to say it that way, but what a tremendous wrestler he was. They both were, but you know, they both finished their career with well over 100 wins for NGL, and they will not be forgotten anytime soon.
Well, when you talk about, we talked about this before, when you talk about 100 wins in wrestling, you're
That's
talking like
1,000 points
right.
in basketball.
Yeah.
Yep, you bet. So.
All right, then Kaukauna, Luxembourg, Casco, and Fenimore won the state title.
Yeah, Kaukauna beating Marshfield in the state finals. So Marshfield had defeated McQuanago in the quarters and then Bayport in the semis, but very good Kaukauna team took them out 41-26. And it was kind of a year Marshfield was going for because they were very senior-oriented last year. So,
yeah.
And then one other note, Larry, Braden Sonntag from Cadott won his 4th straight state championship. So
that does not happen.
Yeah. He's one of probably 20, 25 in the state that have ever done that. So,
Yeah,
good
for him.
And now wrestling for the University of Wyoming.
There you go. All right. Yeah, we talked about those 3 teams that won the state titles, and boy, I tell you, Kaukauna, Luxembourg, Casco, and Fenimore.
Yeah, and Fenimore is going to be back this year again.
Wow.
They really got a juggernaut going down there, and especially in Division 3. They came up to Marshfield had a tournament with them and Holman and Lodi. And Lodi is very good Division 2 school.
Right.
And Fenimore cleaned house up there.
Wow.
So
Okay.
you
All
bet.
right.
So
All right. There it is. Wrestling. A lot of good stuff happening last year. And, you know, Neillsville Greenwood Loyal coming back with a fairly young team.
fairly
now.
young team, but very excited about it. You know, they seem to making a lot of strides. And of course, with Hudson back in the lineup, and Hudson's only a junior also, so that kind of solidifies it a little bit. And you're going to see better and better as the season goes on. So,
Yeah, things will ramp up with wrestling now.
Yeah, you bet.
After the
They
holidays.
haven't done a whole lot. You know, they went to a couple tournaments, but as far as duels, not much. And you know, so now they will really ramp up where they go to a tournament almost every weekend in January and February. So
Right. All right. Then we skip ahead to the spring season, and Neillsville baseball had a lot of kids back.
Yeah, you know, they won the Eastern Division last year, you know, and expectations this spring is going to be very high.
Very high.
Because everybody is back. You got your whole pitching staff. You got a lot of experience, and, you know, hopefully they come out hungry because that's what it's going to take.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
So, because Columbus is going to be strong, too.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know, so-
Yeah, they still got a good class coming
You
up.
bet. You know, so.
So that'll be interesting with the baseball and the girls softball as well.
Yep. Yeah, we have good softball around here yet. So.
Yeah, I think there'll be some new coaching going on there
Yeah.
for girls softball.
Yes, I didn't see any names yet.
No,
but,
we'll get into that as it gets closer. But for baseball at Neuroscience Group Field,
Yeah.
the state champions there, you had Whitefish Bay winning in Division 1. And
Led by Craig Council's son.
yes, that's right. Their first title in their first appearance
Yeah.
in the state baseball.
And young Council was 5 for 5 in the championship game. So
You learned
chip off the old block there, and
Jack Council.
I believe he's going to the University of Michigan now. So.
Okay. All right. Denmark became the third program in the history of spring baseball to win 3 straight championships.
That's an awesome feat.
Yeah.
Especially in Division 2.
Yep. Division 3 had St. Croix Falls beating Aquinas. You know, and Aquinas is one of those teams you thought, wow, it's going to take a good team to beat them.
And it did. St. Croix Falls was strong all season, but they handled. That was a pretty good game between them and Aquinas. I forget, you know, but
And that was, it was 3-1 was the final That was their first state championship, St. Croix Falls. And then in Division 4, it was Ithaca. Fought back from a 7-0 deficit.
Yeah.
They scored 8 runs in the final 3 innings to beat Pecatonica.
Yeah,
8-7.
Pecatonica had a 7-0 lead after 4 innings, and just
Yikes!
that one hurts.
That one, that one smarts a little bit.
You can I'll take a lopsided loss any day compared to one of them, Larry.
Yeah,
That one hurts. And to have it in the championship game, that is something you'll never forget, especially as a senior.
And as a coach, there's nothing you can do.
No.
All you can do is sit there and watch the runs fall.
Yeah, that's all it is. I said, especially in Division 4, you probably don't have a deep pitching staff, so that some of these guys
Right.
are probably pitching tired, and sooner or later it all catches up to you.
Yep.
Because you've been through a pretty good run through the sectionals and the regionals, and these kids, if you have one ace and then you're got to bring somebody inexperienced in, and you're just a sitting duck then. So
And normally that's what happens in the later innings.
you bet, absolutely.
All right, then girls softball, and you talk about Kaukauna
Yeah,
in girls softball. Wow,
yeah.
3 straight Division I championships and their 81st consecutive win.
Yeah, they are. I watched that championship game, and they are just awesome. They put the bat on the ball better than any team I have ever seen. I mean, very few strikeouts, and they really run the bases well. Really run the bases well.
5th championship and as many appearances at state, but they have won 81 consecutive games now.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is.
Especially when you play D1, where there's good teams all the time. So
We talk about Freedom. There they are in girls softball,
Yeah.
winning the Division II championship.
Yep.
Division III Broadhead beat Mayville 1-0 in 8
That was
innings.
a great game too. That was about as well pitched a game I've seen in a state tournament by 2 teams, and the defense was just outstanding in that game. So
Yeah, it had to be with a 1-0
you
in
bet.
8 innings.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then Iowa Scandinavia beat Waterloo in the Division 4
Yep.
championship. And then in Division 5, Pacelli.
Whole hum, huh?
Yeah. Another win. And they beat Oakfield.
Yeah,
Wow, there's
Oakfield.
another field
Yeah.
team that's never in there, right?
Yeah.
11th appearance at state for Pacelli and the 16th for
Of
Oakfield,
course, Coach Ann Molsky, a Nilsel graduate.
Yes.
So, Ann
Wow.
Bredlow Molsky. So.
winning that championship there for girls softball.
And she's been in the Pacelli Hall of Fame for a long time, but she's not quitting coaching. So
All right, boys and girls track and field then came in the spring. Let's see what happened there in the track and field. We have anybody from our area down there in the track and field?
not a lot this year.
No.
We were pretty light.
Yeah.
I think one of the Shear boys was down there for Columbus, but I don't think we had anybody locally.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, boys
we're
track
kind
and
of
field.
an off year.
Yeah, track and
usually
field.
we're used to having a couple teams but I believe Spencer had a couple of relay teams down there. Edgar always is strong in track, but
Sure. Yeah.
just kind of an off year,
Yeah.
for everybody. So
Okay. All right, then we move on into the summer. Boys golf, we got Tucker Tucker Johnson's coming up and coming there.
Nielsen boys went to state too.
Yeah, right.
You know, and of course Tucker's kind of the lead man on that. Only a sophomore last year when he did that. So,
Yeah.
Looking
for things maybe for them again.
Yeah, you bet. Andrew Brown was, I believe, the only senior on the team.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah.
So I think they're a pretty good team. And of course, Tucker lives and dies by golf.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
plays basketball too, but just a tremendous golfer who probably does 18 to 27 holes a day during the summer. So but.
I think he's got a tent pitched up somewhere down there.
And speaking of that team, Isaac Berger was on that team, Larry, and now
Yes.
he's playing out in Arizona
Yes.
and doing well out there too. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So the boys golf team again making the state last
Yeah,
year
That's a real feat. I think
was
the
a-
last time for Nielsen was in the 70s, I believe.
as a team.
Yeah, as a team.
Yeah,
They've
it
had
was-
various kids. Noel and John had qualified the year before as an individual, but not for a long time since a team had
Getting
been
it
there.
as a team is tough.
It is tough.
Yeah. You got to have at least 4 or 5
Yeah.
guys that
Yeah.
are up there in scoring.
But that's where Tucker really helps you because he's going to be probably in the top 5.
Right. Right.
Yep. So it always helps to have that guy right there. So
You bet. You bet. All right. Anything else locally that? Of course, the football team in the
we
fall.
go into the fall. The football team, and of course, this was a big deal. I thought Nielsel Granton making the WIA playoffs for the first time since 2009. And that just was fun. And we did the games week in and week out. It was
Right.
just exciting time.
Yeah.
And to see these kids and how the people backed them and stuff. It was just real good time. Yes, they did lose in level 1 to a very good team, but just an exciting year. Bryce Erickson being the offensive player of the year in the Clover Belt. It just really showed how well that program had come. This senior class really paved the way, and hopefully they can build off that. So.
Well, and as we're going through this year at 2023 and now into 2024,
Sure.
This is a senior-oriented
team,
boys.
You go to
sports team.
basketball and baseball,
right?
Too. And in all three cases, it's a lot of the same individuals for the most part,
right?
But hopefully, there's enough young kids sprinkled in. Your son Andrew, definitely in the basketball and the baseball, is going to take a lead after next year. You know, and we'll see. It's they've got a lot of kids out in basketball and baseball, so hopefully, those sports will continue along. Football, it might be a little tougher, it's just because of the conference they play in. So, it's good. So.
Well, then we look at football, and you made got to check something off your bucket list.
Yes, I did. I said, we talked about, and I guess we did, what did we do, 16 games in 14 weeks or something like that. But to do 3 state championship games in 1 year, we did the 8-man over in Rapids, which was fun. But then to do 2 games for me personally from the press box at Camp Randall, you can't beat that with a stick. I said when I sat down and wrote these notes down, I said, between Gunnar Hoffman winning the state and doing that, I said I fulfilled everything I wanted to do in a year.
There you go. There you go. Well, I guess nothing left.
Not according to my wife, but
yeah. And then we went down there, and Stratford and Edgar both bring back gold balls.
Yeah, and I tell you, and that was some of the memories I'll have for the year, Larry. We did 3 weeks of Edgar football, and what a juggernaut that team was.
Yeah,
that was an awesome. I said their defense was second to nobody except, I guess Boyceville put a lot of points up, but Boyceville had a quarterback and a wide receiver.
Right.
Nobody, you don't see like an air attack like that in D7. Everybody else, it was just stone cold.
Yeah.
Bangor in level 4, and then who was it? Pecatonica something in whatever it was in the championship game.
Yeah, but it was,
Blackhawk.
Yes, Blackhawk.
Yeah, but man, oh man.
Carter Butt was the guy.
Butt, yeah, that was a man playing a boys' game right there.
Yes,
so.
It was.
And I said he probably had 750 yards in the time we watched him, 3 games we watched.
And then you see Stratford with their big back too.
Yeah, Kilty.
Yeah.
Yeah, he in the fourth quarter, he put that team on his back.
Yeah.
That'll be that might have been the single most greatest drive I've ever seen in high school football, Larry, where they started inside their 5-yard line and took up the whole fourth quarter and went down. And that was such a change. And they did not score. They had the field goal blocked. But then for whatever reason, I forget the name of the team. But anyway, they fumbled down there, and then the Ford Exchange student kicking a 32-yard field goal on the last play. I said, you can't write that stuff.
No, that stuff was that is unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable. So.
How that all concluded right there.
Yeah, it was just if we wouldn't have been there, if somebody would have told you that and read it in the paper, you wouldn't have believed it. But there it was right in front of our eyes. So.
Darlington was the team that they played. Yes. Yeah, it was a 32-yard untimed play is what they call that because the time had already run out.
And, the kid that fumbled, the Jackson kid who at one time went to school in Loyal, he had such an amazing game that day. He blocked the previous field goal, and he was stud on the ground and on defense, and then he'd probably be remembered for his fumble at the end. Yeah. That's sad. It really is.
Yeah.
But,
Lorenz Plattner was the guy that hit that field goal, the exchange student.
I see several headlines. And
when we talk about Stratford and Edgar, Stratford won their 9th state championship, and Edgar won their 8th state championship.
Unbelievable. I said and those two teams right next to each other, basically.
Yeah,
So it's just, but just unbelievable. So
all right, so that's what happened in high school sports leading up to the winter sports season. But now, if we go back on the national and college headlines, you go back to January 9th. Of course, we're leading into this year's championship or 2024. But Georgia, how about what they did to TCU in the championship last year?
Absolutely. Georgia's been a juggernaut, and it's hard to believe they won't be part of it this year.
Yeah, they beat TCU 65-7.
In
the championship.
That loss to Alabama in the SEC championship game just really got them stoned out of it, and it's too bad. They might be. Who knows? I would have thought they were one of the top 2 teams in football, but they're not going to get a chance to prove it.
Not this year. No. Super Bowl 57 had the Chiefs beat the Eagles 38-35.
Mr. Harrison Buckner, field goal with 8 seconds left, I believe. So.
And that ended up being the most watched telecast in U.S. history. 115.1 million people.
Isn't it amazing? You know, they always talk about Super Bowl hangovers, but how far the Chiefs have fallen this year.
Yeah, right.
You know, I said, I remember listening to a couple guys who were saying, the Chiefs got a chance to go undefeated. Well, they lost their first game to Detroit right away. But, I mean, watching them on Christmas Day against the Raiders, they look terrible.
Yeah.
On offense, anyway.
Yeah, their offense.
You know, I said Mahomes just doesn't look like he has a clue right now. You know, so.
Well, yeah, he doesn't have any receivers.
No.
I mean, and that's the hangover you get is these players move on to different teams.
You get a better chance, you
right?
know? And and not having threats on the outside, that really Kelsey's his favorite receiver. And
he's no threat on the outside.
No, he's no threat. And he's gotten frustrated. He had an offensive pass interference the other day. He had an offensive pass interference against when they played the Packers also. So, he's getting very frustrated. So
yeah.
So.
And that wasn't this past year, the year that Rodgers left?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. He left to go to the Jets and then got hurt in the first play. First series.
Yeah. Yeah. And you talk about, the Packers, they kind of, you hate to say clean house, but they went young.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Rodgers was traded. They did not re-sign Mason Crosby, who last weekend did 52-yard field goal.
Yes.
For the Giants.
For the Giants, yes.
Yeah. But, and I think it's part of the problem right now, Larry. You see the problem with Jair Alexander being suspended yesterday for why you would not be designated captain when you go out for the coin toss. I don't get that. But that's immaturity.
Yeah.
But here's a guy, they lost. Rodgers is gone. Bakhtiari is probably around month.
Pretty much
They have
gone.
lost a lot of the older guys that came in with Matt LaFleur.
Right.
And I really think Joe Barry has lost the defensive locker room.
Yep.
Because he had Campbell popping off in the paper last week, Alexander doing this week. And my question, Larry, is Matt LaFleur's loyalty to Joe Barry down the line going to cost him his job sometime?
Well, I really think he's going to keep him till the end of the year.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think he's done.
I think he's got to make a change. There's no doubt about that. But that locker room is a little bit fractured, right? And it's not the offensive side. The offensive side looks cohesive.
Yeah.
But the defensive side does not. And the sad thing is, there's guys like Kenny Clark and Preston Smith, Alexander. These guys have been around.
Right.
Be a leader.
Right.
And none of them are being leaders right now.
No.
So.
All right. Tom Brady also announced his retirement.
Yep.
For real this time.
Yeah.
Back in February.
Yeah. Haven't seen much of him lately either.
No, haven't.
I believe he's going to work for one of the networks next year.
Okay, next year. All right.
Yeah, it was supposed to start with the 24 fall season. So.
Okay, all right.
He's at ESPN. Maybe is he going to the booth with Aikman and?
I don't know where he's actually. I don't remember where he was going, but I know. Yeah, that's right. He is going on the TV.
Yeah.
LeBron James passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to become the NBA's all-time leading scorer back in February. Mm-hmm. The pitch clock came in to Major League Baseball in March.
One of the better changes I've seen in baseball. That pitch clock, I like that.
I do too.
I like that. Putting the runner at second base in extra innings, I don't like, because I think that kind of takes the purity of the game away. But,
yeah, it's interesting.
You're hardly going to see a 19 or 20 inning game. Not that you want to see it very often, but
you don't see it that often.
It's pretty easy to get that runner in from second base. So,
with that pitch clock, by the way, the average time of a 9-inning game dropped 24 minutes.
Yes. Yeah, just a good thing, too.
Yeah.
So, and also, the changes they made with the relief pitchers where these guys got to get 3 outs or pitch to 3 batters.
Yeah.
That helped a lot, too, because you don't have these guys switching pitchers every batter anymore. So that speeds it up
got a little
bit,
ridiculous.
Too, so,
also in March Madness, Farley Dickinson beat top-seeded Purdue to become the second number 16 to beat a number 1
yes, yep.
in NCAA men's basketball history.
Yep.
LSU beat Iowa in the women's NCAA women's championship.
Yeah, very good LSU team. So
their first national championship.
The Wisconsin Badger women's hockey team defeated Ohio State 1-0 to win their 7th national title in program history.
Yeah, talk about there's another juggernaut right there.
Mark Johnson.
He's got him going.
Yeah,
they're good. The Spurs won the NBA lottery in May, and they thought everything was going to change with getting Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah,
but no.
Yeah, I said very few players are like LeBron James or back in the day Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That being number one doesn't guarantee you a switch anymore.
No,
So, you know.
no, he's not he's playing all right, but
Yeah.
as a team, they're not any better than they were.
He's 18 years old.
Right,
You know,
right.
and I think, first of all, I think his body strength has got to catch up to him. I mean, he's a great natural athlete, but he's got to the wear and tear of an 82-game season. It'd be interesting to see what he looks like at the end of the season.
Yeah, well, he's already been sitting
Yeah.
because of ankle
But,
problems. So
they're going to be in the lottery again, so.
yeah, I think they will be. Well, Detroit will obviously have the number one pick because they can't get out of the.
Yeah, Detroit's up, what are they, 27?
27.
Wow.
And I heard one of the networks was talking about their upcoming schedule.
Yeah, it ain't pretty.
Oh, it's tough. Holy cow. I don't think they're going to win a game for about 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them.
Yeah, they're 33 is the longest winning streak. They might get up to 33 for a losing streak. So.
Yeah, right. Yes. The Denver Nuggets beat the Miami Heat to win the NBA championship.
Yeah, that was kind of refreshing to see, the Denver Nuggets with
47-year wait.
Yep.
Never won one.
Yeah. And I always had, excuse me, pretty good basketball out there, too.
Yeah, sure.
Always had
Yeah.
some great teams out there. You go back in the day, David Thompson was out there, Alex English. They put some.
Dan Issel.
Dan Issel, yeah. Yeah, there's a name from the past. University of Kentucky.
Yeah. Did the Iceman play there?
Yep.
No, he
played
played
San Antonio.
That's
George
right.
Gervin.
That's right. Yeah.
So,
The Golden Knights of Vegas beat the Panthers 4-1 to win the Stanley Cup in just their sixth year of existence.
Yeah, that had to be one of the fastest ever.
That was
hockey.
quick. That's quick.
I said the one when the Milwaukee Bucks won in 70-71, that was their third year of existence.
Wow.
But after their first year, they won the coin flip to draft then Lou Alcindor.
Right.
And in his second year, they traded for Oscar Robertson. So they developed a team pretty quick.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
The only sad thing is they didn't win any more with that combination.
No, they didn't. You're right.
So
Yeah. In June, late June, Yankees pitcher Domingo Germán, is that how you pronounce that?
Mm-hmm.
Throws the 24th perfect game.
Yep. Yankees have had a few of them.
Yeah, they have.
You
over
know,
the
I
years.
said, you go back to Don Larson in the World Series in '56, but David Cohn has a perfect game for him. Who was the big left-hander? I forget his name. Big husky guy, but anyway, I can't remember his name offhand. But he had a perfect game for him too.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The Yankees have had a lot of stuff over the years. Carlos Alcaraz beat Novak Djokovic in an epic 5-set match to win his first Wimbledon at age 20 in July.
You're going to hear those two names for a while.
I think
yet.
so. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
The NFL owners approved the sale of the Commanders, $6.5 billion in July.
They finally got rid of Dan Snyder, but it cost them.
Yep.
So,
yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
And the sad thing is their stadium is probably one of the worst in the NFL. So
Yeah, they didn't do much.
no, they built that new, but there weren't hardly any luxury buy, and it's way away from the city of Washington too.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
out in Landover, Maryland,
Yeah.
or someplace like that. So
Yep.
so
The Big Ten in August added Oregon and Washington,
yep.
and that's going to happen this coming
Yeah,
fall in
and
20,
UCLA and
2024.
USC too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be now as the Big 18, I guess.
There's 18
But,
teams, yes.
You talk about football, but you look at some of the other sports. Women's volleyball, you bring a UCLA in the Big Ten with what's in the Big Ten already. Holy mackerel! Yeah, that is wild.
That is going to be wild.
Yep. So
Nebraska drew 92,000 fans to watch volleyball. Speaking of which, that's the largest crowd to ever watch a U.S. women's sporting event. That was in August.
yep, they had that at the big stadium there.
Yeah,
so Memorial
93,000. I don't know if some of those people even seen that match.
Stadium. I don't know.
Because you look at a volleyball court on a football field, and it doesn't take up much room.
I said, I've sat in the upper deck at Kohl Center, and watched wrestling.
Yeah.
And that seems a long way away,
Yeah, yeah.
I can't imagine what a volleyball court looks like from the upper deck of Memorial Stadium. So,
Right, yeah.
But
In late September, let's see, the 44th Ryder Cup teed off in Rome,
Yep.
and Team Europe won.
yep. So
Let's see.
Steve Stricker had a great year on the Champions Tour.
Yes, he did.
He was pretty awesome. Speaking of Wisconsin natives, so
The Las Vegas Aces beat the New York Liberty in the WNBA Finals in October.
now is that 2 in a row for them?
Yep.
Yep. So
Yeah, that was I mean, that was, if you want to be a betting person, that was an easy bet.
Yes.
To have those two teams playing in the finals.
Yeah, they dominated all season.
Yeah, they had the best
dominated
teams.
their very conferences, and then had a really nice series too. Very good series too. So
Yep. Texas won their first Major League Baseball title, winning in the World Series over the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Who would have figured that one out?
no,
Texas against Arizona in the World Series.
yeah, I said, yeah, and you look what these teams are spending, and yes, Texas does have a couple of high. They have Simeon, and then the shortstop they spent a lot of money on, but for the most part, they're a very young team, and so and the Diamondbacks are very young.
Yeah,
They are going to be a team to watch.
they are.
But I'll tell you what, that's you look at the money the Dodgers are throwing around, but you gotta compete against a team like Arizona.
Sure.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah,
you
you still got to play the game.
As you and I have taught, money doesn't guarantee much.
No.
If money guaranteed everything, the New York Yankees would be champion every year,
Every year. Yeah, or the Dodgers.
or the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Yep. So or the Padres.
Yeah, and by the way, Texas won every game on the road in the playoffs.
Yes, they did.
They finished 11-0.
Yeah, that might never happen again.
Wow.
That was, they were just, they were kind of human at their own park, but they were very good, awesome on the road. So
Yeah. All right, so there's 5 teams left now that do not have World Series titles.
okay,
That would be a trivia question.
yeah,
right there.
Milwaukee Brewers are one.
Yeah. That's an easy one. San Diego,
Yep.
Seattle, Colorado, and Tampa.
Yep, and all, I guess Brewers would be the oldest. Well, the Brewers and the Padres came in the same year.
Yep.
69.
69.
So they would be the two oldest. So.
Yep. And then the Mariners,
Yep.
Then the
Mariners
Rockies.
came in 75.
77.
77. Okay.
and the Rockies and Rays.
Yeah, the Rockies came in the 90s, and so did the Rays.
Yep.
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 So.
All right. And then we get to December, and Shohei Ohtani agrees to a 10-year, $700 million deal with the Dodgers.
And going to defer $680 million of it.
Yep. So they can concentrate on getting
and then
better
they went
players.
and signed another guy for big bucks. So that's his choice. And he claims that guy would have came whether he was there or not. So I don't believe that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. They
But
probably wouldn't have had the money to.
You got to believe Ohtani wanted to stay on the West Coast because he was at the Angels. Why would he switch? Why you want to go?
Right. Yeah.
But
All
good
right.
for him.
Yep. So that happened earlier in December. Also, the final CFP rankings were unveiled, and Florida State, an unbeaten team, was not there in the top 4.
Isn't that funny? All the all of a sudden you got politicians in Florida wanting to sue the NCAA.
Yeah. Over that.
And I said, it's too bad. It happens. But, when they go to 12, hopefully. But, when they go to 12, Larry, it's going to be somebody else.
Yeah.
The NCAA basketball tournament, they went to 64 plus play-in games, and they still have people that feel left out. So no matter what you do, and with Florida losing their quarterback, that was probably a big part of it.
It was.
And quite honestly, Larry, I don't think they belong in the top 4.
No, I don't think they were the best.
I don't think they were in the top 6.
No.
Because I do not think they're definitely not better in Georgia, and I don't think they're better in Oregon.
Yeah. Well, in fact, Florida
or
State.
Ohio State. So there's 7 there. So,
Florida State has called the Board of Trustees meeting for today, which could start the process of them leaving the ACC.
Okay, and that's what's going to got to get done.
I don't know where they're going to go. But.
Yeah, I said, basically it's right now it's either the SEC or the Big Ten if you want to get noticed.
Right. Yeah.
Because the Big 8 or the Big 12, whatever the heck it is right now, that's going to go down too. So
there's going to be like 3 big conferences left.
And dollars to donuts, those 4 teams are going to come out of those conferences. I mean, you're going to have to be a really good team like Cincinnati was that year to get in there.
Right.
Or TCU last year.
Yeah. All right, so there it is, a little bit of the year review here on Two Guys
Just
on
want to say
Sports.
thank you to everybody for listening and all the nice
you bet.
comments they make, and it's just a lot of fun doing this show. So
and we'll get some guests in here coming up in the new year.
Yeah.
We kind of had some different things come up later on this year, but we'll get some guests in here.
Yeah, we've been kind of busy. So.
Yeah, we're going to try and get some more coaches interviews on here for you as well.
Yeah, we need to get probably Bryant in here and Mike Geyer maybe.
Yeah,
so
we'll see if we can get
you
in
guys
here.
like that. So
All right. Well, Happy New Year, everybody.
Yep, you too, Larry, and we'll see you this afternoon over in Auburndale.
Yeah, yep. We'll be over there again. Girls basketball at 1, Neelsville and Auburndale on 92.7 WPKG, and then tonight at 6, Dick and I will be doing the boys against Augusta
Yep.
over in Auburndale starting at 6.
And there'll be a game tomorrow sometime.
At some time, yes. That's Two Guys on Sports. I'm Larry Hayes.
I'm Dick Olson.
We'll talk to you next year.
Yeah.